We've debated this many times before, the economy, but the reason tonight why we are picking it up again is because the country happens to have a new finance minister. Now, after a break of a little under 4 years, P. Chidambaram is back to the job he's always preferred, some people say, a little more than the other job he's been holding for the last 4 years. For more than 4 years and 4 months between the May of 2004 and November of 2008, he was the Finance Minister of India. How much will he be able to change? That's the question tonight. I'm stepping back because as arbiter for this debate, Swaminathan Iyer, consulting editor of the Economic Times. Glad to have you tonight, sir, with us. And I hope your wisdom steers this debate. Piyush Goyal, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, National Treasurer of the BJP, key man for the BJP on economic issues. Manish Tiwari, National Spokesperson, Lok Sabha MP of the Congress. Great to see you. Manish, it's good to see the electricity back today because we've been checking out how many of our guests have their lights on. Light had gone out of our lives for more than...
Just hope it'll last another day tomorrow.
And we said right on top of news tonight that Piyush would take a dig at you for that. Now, let me put the question to you, Piyush, right on top. The question Manish Tiwari last time both of you debated was not what they should do with the economy, but what you will let them do with the economy. Now, how much will you let Chidambaram do with the economy? Because Parliament starts in the next 1 week and you will be back to your old tricks.
Arnav, there are no tricks in this game. We have always been willing and always coming forward to support this government. We have time and again extended an arm and a hand of assistance. Unfortunately, over the last few years, the approach of this government has been one of arbitrariness. They have tried to pin the blame for all of their failures on the opposition. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Whenever they couldn't get through anything, they would just put the blame on the opposition, and they've kept saying that so often that it's becoming kind of a joke. When they can't get a bill passed by the cabinet on pensions, on banking, on insurance, nothing passed their cabinet. Their allies are not willing to support them. I don't know what kind of cooperation we can extend to a weak government which doesn't have a coalition in place.
That's a no I'm hearing.
Well, I'm willing to support.
I'm
hearing not.
I'm hearing the same approach when we had the last debate.
Well, I have on so many occasions, and I have on the floor of the House, personally to the Honorable Finance Minister, erstwhile Finance Minister, extended to him an arm of cooperation. I've said, let's debate insurance. We can come to an agreed position. On pension, we are already supporting the government. So they have not been able to bring it before the House.
What do you want in return? What do you want?
Nothing.
What's your pound of flesh?
No pound of flesh.
What's your pound of flesh?
In the national interest, we have a certain viewpoint. We desire that it should be heard, and we come to an agreed position, which is not very difficult. It only requires a little less arrogance. This government has displayed a lot of arrogance over the last few years. If that changes, and if they come forward with a spirit of cooperation, I can assure you on behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party that we are willing to extend an arm of cooperation. We have a new finance minister today. We welcome him to take over the reins of the economy and hopefully set right the mess that they have created in the last 2 years.
All of this means nothing as far as the banking regulations bill is concerned, direct tax code is concerned, pension bill is concerned, or GAR is concerned.
On direct tax code, we came out with a recommendation through the standing committee, which is majority UPA.
You can say that.
And that has been widely accepted all across the country. Despite that, the finance minister thought it fit to introduce GAR in a haphazard manner, which they had to withdraw.
You want to pick that up as a You want to pick that up as an example?
I can pick any one of them. You want to pick up banking? They wanted to bring completely unlimited voting powers for foreigners. We said 26% in the standing committee, which is again majority UPA members, Arnab. It's not as if it's the BJP saying that. We were concerned that HDFC and ICICI would be in foreign hands overnight. So we said 26%. Let's begin with 26%.
You hear the response?
Yeah, we'll be happy. Every one of them,
nothing's changed.
We are willing to cooperate.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed from your position earlier.
Well, our position is consistent.
So I put the question to Manish Tiwari. Manish, I don't know if you noticed something substantially which has changed. But it's your government, it's your target. And if you don't perform, you can't change things around. The fault will be yours. You will no longer be allowed to blame Piyush Goyal or the BJP. You know that. The onus is on you. How much can Chidambaram change?
Well, ultimately, I think, Arnab, all of us are very cognizant of the fact, that the buck stops with us. So therefore, there's no question of blaming everybody and their grandmother, as Mr. Piyush Goyal was alluding to. But I think there needs to be a sense of realism, which every stakeholder of the political process must be cognizant of. The fact is that you're looking at a situation whereby a part of the country, may be facing drought. And of course, Mr. Swaminathan Ankleshwar Iyer is of the view, and I respect that view, that over the past couple of decades, we've done a fair bit of drought proofing. So therefore, the impact which it possibly had in the 60s is not the impact which would be there in the 21st century. On the other hand, you have the big ticket reforms, pensions, banking, insurance, the whole question of retrospective taxation, GAR. Obviously, the new finance minister who earlier held this job for 4 years, and during those 4 years, the Indian economy had performed, very well, almost about 8.5 to 9.5%. So he's, back to his old job. Of course,
yes.
The circumstances have changed.
Yes.
The context has changed because the global economy is in choppy waters, and we do hope that over the next couple of months, as he takes charge, we will be able to see a couple of things through.
I hear you. And I hear you saying tonight, Manish Tiwari, that we are back to 2008. We are back to the pre-election budget. We are back to the populist moves. We are back to something like a 60,000 crore rupee waiver which was given in 2008, increasingly contentious at one, which was his fifth budget and the last one before the last general elections. I hear you tonight in pre-election mode. Swaminathan Iyer, watch it. I hear you in pre-election mode.
I hate
to interrupt.
He's interrupted.
I think
I hate to interrupt, but allow me to clarify.
I have been interrupted.
If that is the Piyush, I think if you could just hold on for a moment. Arnab, I think this requires a certain clarification. If that is the sense that you've got, that wasn't certainly the swan song of my argument. In 2008, there was room which was available, and that is why the finance minister went ahead and decided to lift the burden of indebtedness of a majority of the Indian farmers, or a bulk of the Indian farmers. The economy today is much tighter, and I do hope that we would have room, and this is not about populism, this is not about politics, but yes, we do hope that the finance minister and the Indian economy would have the room and the space available. As Anna Hazare said 3 days back, to implement similar welfare measures.
But at this economy does not run on hope.
The space is definitely constrained, and the priority is to see that the Indian economy can be brought back to the trajectory of high growth. These are
all generalities. Economy does not run on hope. Anna Hazare also said 3 days back, there's a terrible thing about hope is hope. You can't live on hope. How can your government live on hope? Either you have the room or you don't. Swaminathan Iyer, my question is to you tonight. Does the government have room? Does the government have room to go back into pre-election mode?
No, the government has room. The question is, does it have conviction? And what exactly does it have room for? What is it convinced of? Chidambaram is a finance minister with an excellent track record, as Tiwari just said. On the other hand, there are different faces of Chidambaram. There has been Chidambaram the reformer.
Yeah.
Equally, there has been, as you just pointed out, Chidambaram, who produced the pre-election budget of 2008. The circumstances with which he is becoming finance minister today, let's see, the next budget is going to be the last budget before the elections. So we do expect that this is going to be Chidambaram in election budget mode rather than Chidambaram in high reform mode.
Yeah.
Not only that, Pranab Mukherjee left. People got very excited saying Manmohan Singh is becoming Prime Minister. Now we'll see lots of changes. Frankly, you saw a scratch here and a fiddle there, some committee appointed. you didn't see a major change because the two things constraining the government really are the attitude of 10 Janpat, where the emphasis is not on reform. It's much more on welfare. And the second thing is a very shaky majority in the Lok Sabha.
Very shaky.
And no majority in the Rajya Sabha. Those particular problems continue. So they meant that Manmohan Singh couldn't make a big difference in 1 month as finance minister. They will equally constrain Chidambaram. The overall constraints are there, and I think the political motivation right now is on the next election budget. This does not mean that no other reforms are possible, but it does mean that the emphasis will be elsewhere.
Arnab, just one small side comment. The beauty of this government is it rewards inefficiency. So if Pranab Da came out with a very, very bad budget which left the whole...
Who are you calling inefficient?
Whole country and the whole world.
Who are you describing? Chidambaram is not generally regarded as inefficient. I mean, you may not like him, you may block parliament for him.
Pranab Da brought out a budget which was not good for the country and the economy. He got booted up to the president's position. Today we have Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde in the face of 2 days of power outages all over the northern and today the
eastern region. What does Chidambaram have to do with
that? He gets into the Home Minister's chair and Mr. Chidambaram was busy in Assam trying to sort out the problems there and he comes and lands himself into the Finance Minister's chair.